What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. How great has this Fortnite Champion Series been? So today we're going to go over who I think is going to win this series. I've watched a fair few streams. I've watched a fair few people play, how they've played. Watched mainly the top teams and how they've gone. And yeah, I'm just going to give my opinion on who I think is going to win. There you go. So the grand final is tomorrow, 3 till 6 Eastern Standard Time. You're going to see some of the biggest names: Tfue, Booga, Ninja. They're all going to be in there, so tune in. Just so you guys know, there's a tournament in every area, but we're going to be focusing on NA East because that's where all the big names are playing, and it's the biggest prize pool, so it's the biggest competition. We're going to go through each heat, and I'm going to discuss who was the standout in that heat, and who I think will be the favourite going into the final. And then I'm going to give you who I think is going to win. So guys, we'll start off with Heat 1. Obviously coming in at rank 1, great team with High School Isaiah and others. They're a real good team. All four of them are really good Fortnite players, like in all game modes, solo. But as a squad, they work perfectly just because they're so talented. Yeah, they were clearly the best team in this heat. So the reason this team finished first, obviously they got a victory royale, which is always helpful to finish up top. But they also finished with 2 seconds, which is very handy, and a 4th and a 6th. And then they had one bad game finishing 14th. Yeah, the thing that got them to that first place was those seconds, those 2 seconds. Like, they're not talked about as much because you're not winning, but they're just as important. Another team I'm going to talk about got 2 victory royales, and that's obviously Ninja, Reverse 2Ks, FaZe Funk, Nate Hill. They're also a really good team, so they obviously had a real good 5 games. Well, they had a good 2 games because they obviously got 2 victory royales, which is amazing. I don't know if anyone else got 2 victory royales. We'll go through that as we go on. I'm pretty sure they were the only team that got 2 victory royales. I might be wrong. But, yeah, they did great. But obviously they had they didn't get any seconds. Their next best place was a 4th. And then they got a 5th, 7th, and a 10th. So they had some pretty average games. And they didn't really have a high elim game. One of their wins, they got 11 kills. So yeah, that's probably why they only ended up finishing 4th at the end. So yeah, those bad games can really put you down the list. But if they can get 2 wins in the final series, they're in a real good place to win it. So yeah, they're my 2 teams that I found good. I watched a lot of Ninja's team in the stream. I thought they really play on the edge. Like, they have like a real good combination of players. Like, they all complement each other nicely. Like, Ninja's really he can just pop off and do like something sparky, and yeah, and Reverse 2K and that are really good at planning out where to go, working with the storm, and yeah, and then Ninja can just pop off like that. One game Ninja died early and then he started getting griefed. So yeah, I don't think they'll get griefed as much in the finals. So maybe they could have a better placement, and maybe, who knows, maybe they could win. I wasn't expecting this. Ninja really isn't usually that good in tournaments, really. Like, he didn't qualify for the World Cup or anything, but obviously he's really focused on that and he's done really well. So, yeah, guys, so I was wrong with the last heat. There actually was a team that got 2 wins as well in Heat 2. That was Bizzle and Dubs' team. They got 2 wins, high kill games, 18 and 15 kills in those games, but then really had some real bad games. Finished 21st one game and 22nd another, which really you're just losing points at that stage, and it's real hard to finish at the top if you're not, even when you've won 2 games, and that's a lot of points from those 2 games. From game 3 and 4 they scored high, and yeah, just finishing 22nd, 21st, like, you just can't really recover from that. So they only out finishing 3rd, but obviously a danger going into the final if you're capable of winning 2 games and popping off for nearly 20 kills. Like, that's crazy. And then the team that finished top, yeah, they were just real consistent. Had a top place, finished 1st, a 3rd, a 5th, and a 3rd. So yeah, finishing those top 3, top 4 places just consistently can really help you out. And they got some real good kill games. Actually, they didn't have that many good kill games. They got 2 13 kill games. But yeah, moving on into the final, like, I don't see them as much of a threat, but who knows, I could be wrong. But yeah, I didn't watch a lot of this heat, so I can't really give too much opinions on it, but we'll see in the final how these teams go. Now, Heat 3, obviously, Booga, Stretch, Clarity, Twifo, like, they were insane. Like, 111 points, the highest points scored out of the 4 heats, and yeah, they just popped off. Oh, sorry, I was wrong again. Another 2 victory hours. I did watch that. I should have known that. I was watching Booger. This team is seriously impressive. I watch Booger a fair bit, just because who's not interested in someone that won the World Cup. But these guys just study Fortnite so much. Like, you just think it's a video game, but it's insane how much they study the game, and like with the circle, and just like it's insane like how much study goes into it. And I've heard Booger talk on his streams just how much he like tries to improve his game and how much he looks back on stuff. So yeah, these guys seriously popped off. Like 20 kill game, finished first, 12 kill game, finished first, and then these guys are consistent because they're so organized and they communicate so well. They always find themselves at the end game. They finish first, fifth, third, first, and seventh, which is like mental. Like, they're always ready to win the game, always in that discussion to win the game. And yeah, just the way they communicate each other, they organize stuff early, and then they capitalize, and then usually they come out on top. And obviously that's what's happened with the 2 wins, and then they finished with 2 thirds and a fifth. And yeah, that's really good, and get heaps of kills. And obviously they're really talented. Their mechanics are insane, and yeah, they're really good form going into the next into the final. And then in Heat 4, obviously you got the big names with Cloaksy and Tfue coming in at second. They played well today. I watched Tfue a fair bit. They had a few mishaps, but they mainly didn't have many real problems today, like with communicating and stuff. They were really clear. They've got a really good route. They drop a steamy, and they all seem to get pretty looted up. They usually sometimes get the slurp truck and get a lot of shields. So usually they're usually pretty, like, they're kitted up at the before a game, but sometimes they have to run a fair way because they're obviously stuck in the corner of the map. But they're talented enough, and yeah, they got some really good strats, and they were good to watch. And they come out with a victory hour. And then they also finished with a second. Like I said, those seconds are really important. Just those top 4s, they finished a 5th, a 6th, a 10th, so they're always around the mark. They didn't really pop off with kills any games, though. They had more than 10 kills twice, but they didn't have any games where they had no kills, which was good. So yeah, they were pretty consistent all day, and probably I think they could have won another game. Maybe not the one they got second. The last game, they had the circle the whole game. They probably could have worked it better, but I think they didn't really care by the end there. They knew they qualified, so it wasn't really important. And then obviously Clicks and their team, like, they were insane. Clicks hit a mad snipe on Cloaksy at the in the last round, but by then I think most teams weren't really trying that much. They were kind of just toying. Like, there was hardly anyone in at the last circles, so yeah, the top 2 teams, obviously, I think the best 2 out of this heat, and I think they'll be both contending they'll be in the top 8 teams probably. Both teams will be, the 2 top teams in this heat will be in the top, maybe even top 6 in the final. I think they have a really good route strategy. They communicate well, and yeah, I think they will do well. And then, so my pick for the final, I'm gonna go with Booger, Twifo, Clarity, and Stretch. I think I've watched a lot of them. The way they communicate, it's so clear. They never get muddled up. A lot of teams, like, I've seen, like, with Ninja's team a couple of times, like, they, like, discuss too long, like, oh, should we crank and try to get high ground? Should we crank? And they're just talking about it. They're not actually doing anything. And it just gets muddled up, and then they get stuck somewhere, and then, I don't know, someone might get picked, and then you're just on the back foot. Twifo and all them and Booger and that, they just really discuss, and then they quickly, like, someone will call out, yep, let's do this, and then they all just follow. And they're really good at typing in, and I just think their communication and strats, like, I think they just are consistent. Like, they finished in the top, let me have a look. I've discussed it before. I think they were probably the most consistent, and that's why they finished with the most points. So yeah, they finish first, third, fifth, and seventh. So top seven every time, every game. So they're just most consistent, and that's not just from luck. Like obviously you have to get some luck, but if you like follow your game plan and stuff like that, you're gonna be consistent. And yeah, they're really hard on themselves when they die. Like when they're doing scrims, and yeah, they try hard. They've got good plans. They're really talented, all four of them. And yeah, just I think communication is the best thing. They don't like yell like heaps. Like some, like I love watching TV and that, but like they yell, and they just get muddled up, and sometimes the communication just gets lost there. Boog and all that, they just talk, and they like someone takes control, someone types in, they like as soon as someone needs something, they're dropping it, like mats or whatever, and yeah, that's why they're my pick for the final. So yes, make sure you tune in 3 to 6 Eastern Standard Time. I don't even know what that is my time, but I'll look at that later. But yeah, seriously, tune in. It's going to be awesome. All the big names. I don't know if we've ever seen, or maybe a few times we've seen all the big names in a game together, but it's pretty rare. And it's squads. I think squads really brings out a different component into Fortnite. I think it's a lot more interesting than solos because you get like a team, and you get like the team celebrating together and that bond, and then you get the teams arguing, and then you get these rivalries like Ninja getting griefed, and like even Clicks and Cloaksy talking shit about each other today. And I think that's just really good for the game, and real competitive, and just builds a team, and the team you can support for, and it's just great. So yeah, make sure you tune in, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. See you later.